guys, are you excited? Because I am. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be discussing Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. If I would have had this channel when Iron Flame and Fourth Wing came out, we would also be discussing those, but we're not. We're discussing Onyx Storm. So settle in guys. We're in for a very long haul. For anybody who has not read this book yet, I want to say this video will include major spoilers. If you just want my feelings on it, I think I might include a part where it's just my feelings on the book. Then I'll probably give you a timestamp for where that will be at, and just watch that part if you just want to see like my feelings in a review. But the rest of it will be major spoilers, so do not continue the rest of this video unless you have already read Onyx Storm and you want to discuss it with me, basically. So I wanted to start off with a little synopsis of Onyx Storm. Most of you probably already know since you've already read it. If you're watching past this point, you should already know what Onyx Storm's about, but I'm just going to give a little synopsis to start us off. So we're continuing after Violet's mother died. Xaden had a channel so they could save everybody, and now he's part Venin. And so in this book, we're starting off from that point. Violet knows he's Venin. I think Garrick also knows he's Venin, and like a few other people, like his main friends, like Imogen and them, know that he's Venin. That was just really hard for me to wrap my head around. I just can't get over that fact. We're also, throughout this, we see Taryn and Sagel's Scales. I don't know how to say her name, but I love her. We see their feelings on this topic, and obviously they both disagree that his soul can be saved. They are both like, no, absolutely not. Violet's like, we can save his soul. What are you talking about? We're saving his soul. Don't even worry about it. So that's part of what she's doing. We also learned in Iron Flame that Indarna is a 7th breed of dragon that can, with their fire-breathing power, can defeat Venin and Wyvern. So that's another piece, is we're also trying to look for Indarna's kind in this. So throughout all that, Dane's dad ends up becoming the new general of Baskia. I don't know how to say any of these words. I can just read them in my head. I don't know how to say them. He becomes the new general and hates Violet, hates his son, and thinks that he's a traitor, and thinks that all the other people that left or whatever and did all this fighting and stuff beforehand in Iron Flame are traitors. So he's basically treating them like crap and is sending their squad on the worst missions. All this. I just love it. Also, during this time, they have Jack Barlow, who is just a little butthole. He has already become Venin, and they have him locked away to ask him questions, and Xaden's been obviously questioning him a lot because he doesn't want to turn, and he doesn't want to hurt Violet and channel from her at one point. And Violet ends up questioning him as well, and we figure out that they wouldn't even be able to tell if there was a room full of like Venin, like sages and mages, and those are the like most powerful Venin. You wouldn't be able to tell. So that basically said that they don't know who to trust, that anyone around them could be evil, anyone around them could be working with them. So it's just, yeah. It's insanity. It's another book where we're trying to defeat the Venin, and we're going on missions to do this. And there's not a name for where her 7th breed was found. Her 7th breed's name is Iriads, and it's like a play on of, because they can change, and they can also bend magic to their will, which comes into play. But they find them on these isles that don't really have a name, that no one's really discovered, and they just kind of went there, and they find tons of them, just tons of these dragons. And these dragons are able to, like, communicate with all of them, obviously, because they can bend magic to their will, so they're able to communicate with each and every rider. It doesn't matter who it is. So that also goes to explain how Violet was able to get 2 dragons, because Indarna bended magic to her will and connected to Violet because she wanted to. So that also plays out, and the Iriads confirm that that's her family, and that they recognize her as being a part of their family, and At first they were like, no, and they kind of, because I don't think Andarna really wanted to leave at first, but they told her that all she had to do was break the bond herself. And so she did, from Violet, and left to be with her family. We don't really see her later, but we do see one of the other Iriads when he comes to help them with the venom and stuff. And I was very disappointed we didn't get to see Andarna again, and I know we're going to see her in book 4. I know it. But it was just very disappointing to not see her. It's a lot. I'm going through a lot of emotions. Also, another thing that's coming into play that I also kind of want to talk about later is they go to Deverelli, which is an island that follows I can't remember, but Deverelli, I'm almost positive, is where they find where Violet sees the girl that has the same kind of hair as her. But that's one of the first places they went, and besides seeing the girl, they didn't find, like, anybody else. And I don't remember if this was the place where they had to do the 3 matches as well. I'm kind of forgetting that. I'm mixing up places. But then they went, and Xaden's mom was found in the Isle Kingdoms, which is a separate continent from where we're on right now, which is, like, the continent, so it's just a separate one. And that's where he finds his mother. And finds out that he also has siblings. And that's where we get the draw the paper scene. I was literally, That whole thing made me really upset. I don't know why. So we got to see Xaden's mother, and we got to see, kind of hear about almost the contract that they were talking about, and the contracts that they talk about in the Isles, and how she was only contracted to his dad for a while, and that she knew about what was going to happen to his dad, like all the killing and stuff after the rebellion, how, like, she knew that was going to happen and didn't come to save him or whatever, and didn't come to get Xaden. Just left him. So that was another thing. And then we learn, throughout this, we're also learning about another venin called Theapine. Theapine, I think is her name. And she is a venin that is a very powerful mage that has the same powers as Violet. She is a lightning wielder. So that shows that she was a writer beforehand, because she's been existing for such a long time. Because even one of the, how we get little stuff at the beginning of the chapter and stuff, one of them even said that there's only a certain amount of, like, abilities that, like, powerful abilities, there's only certain people that get them every generation. So she would have been a different generation of lightning wielder. And so she's been alive for such a long time, so we learn more about her, and that's where the ending comes together, is where Theapine and the venin, they capture Terran and Sigil in, like, nets. So obviously Xaden and Violet are not going to leave their dragons, and they're going to, like, do something about it. So all of this fighting happens, and all of this stuff is going down, and then all of a sudden Xaden realizes they're losing, and Violet sees, from Violet's POV, we see all of the shadows basically encompassing the land. And then we see from Xaden's POV that he basically has to do this in turnovers so that he would be able to save them again. And at this point, Violet, Aoric, he can see the future. We figured that out too. He's able to see the future. He's been holding his signet inside for so long, but he's already gotten his signet. He just hasn't told anybody, but he could see the future, and he saw that all of this stuff was going to happen. That everything was going to happen. And made sure that there was going to be a blade for Violet that was given by, oh my god, why am I not remembering her name? Sloane. Was given by Sloane to Violet, and that's the blade that kills Theapine. And that's all going down while Xaden's doing this, so he can also protect himself and his dragon. And then we just jump. And then all of a sudden, it's been 12 hours later. Xaden's gone. Violet doesn't remember anything. Violet has a note from Xaden. There's dragon eggs missing. There's a lot of other stuff happening at this time, and they're trying to blame Xaden. And there's just such a time jump. And then they're married all of a sudden. So that's kind of how it ends, is that that she's losing this time, they're married. I'm pretty sure he left Tyrandor to her, but he left her this note that says, I can quote it exactly. And he left her this note that says, don't look for me, it's yours now. So that's basically just my little synopsis of all the main points that I got out of this book. So yeah, now I'm going to be giving you guys my review of everything that happened, and then we can jump into my theories. Okay, I'm recording this as I'm editing, but I just realized that I also didn't talk about any of the new relationships that were kind of developing, like especially between Imogen and Imogen and Garrick at the end. He was like, I'm not leaving without you. That was one, like, I'm waiting for that to happen because I feel like they should have been a couple for a while anyways. Also, we're seeing Dane and Salome, like, how he's treating her differently compared to the other first years and stuff. And he only did that when he cared about Violet and when he liked Violet. So, there's a lot of theories going around that he's going to get his redemption arc through her, and I'm really seeing the relationship as well. I just can't remember the exact scenes, but I know she's trying to train her signet, and he's like, train your signet, yada, 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 yada. I love that. I just love them. Also, Drake and Mira, they adopted a baby kitty. I mean, Broccoli, come on. Also, Broccoli, there's a cat now. I just can't. This book series, it just keeps getting better and better. That's what I wanted to add. There was also something else I wanted to add. Oh, I think I also wanted to say sorry for no captions for the words. Oops. Because I'm too lazy. I just really don't want to do that. But yeah, back to editing. It's review time. I'm gonna give a, 1-minute review that has no spoilers starting now. Starting at this very moment. This is a review with no spoilers. So if you're here, there's no spoilers. Just making sure you guys know this. Okay. So I was already in love with the characters and the books, like the series beforehand, but this, I don't know, it just made me fall in love with the characters even more, like just seeing their growth in who they are. They're not the cadets, the children, the scared cadets we started out with at this point. They are now the grown people who are becoming the wing leaders, who are about to graduate, and it is insane to see their, growth progress. That's probably one of my favorite parts, is seeing how they've matured as people. It was very enjoyable, and also just seeing how their interactions with the dragons are now that they've also matured. It's very interesting. I'm loving it. I also loved seeing, obviously, Xaden and Violet. I did not enjoy their relationship as much as I did in the other books, because I feel like their relationship was a little strained in this book. But I still will always forever love them. They will always forever be one of my favorite couples. And I don't know, this just topped off everything I needed for their relationship. And now, I don't know, I feel like especially the ending, it just made me love them even more and love him as a male character even more. And I just need more of them. No spoilers review has officially ended. So if you have not read Onyx Storm or have not finished it, at this point you need to just click off the video, click off, and then just come back later, because the rest of this video is also going to be filled with more spoilers. So let's go ahead and click away. Okay, I'm giving you a few seconds to do that. We're back. And this is a spoilers-filled review. So if you're here, you've already read Onyx Storm, let's get with the program. What the absolute fuck was that? That is at that point, that's the only way that I can sum up my feelings about what the hell just happened in these 500 pages. I don't even understand anymore. Okay? Okay. So I'm just contemplating. First of all, I hate Dane's dad so much, because the way that he's treating Violet now and the way that he's acting towards his son and stuff, they're not traitors. You're the traitor, and I feel like his dad is gonna end up being Venom or something because of the way that he's acting and the way that he's acting towards, what they did and stuff, and I'm just, It makes me just so mad that he's now the general, and I can't deal with that emotion. This emotion is like crumpling me inside, and I just don't know what to do. Also, and I understand. I get that she found her family. This is something that she's been wanting for so long. I understand that, and I'm also very happy for her that she finally found her family that she can be with and who can teach her about her life and about who she is as a dragon in the 7th breed. But she left Violet and broke the fucking bond. So we didn't even really see her throughout the rest of the book. I was very mad about that Rebecca didn't even give us a glimpse. Even when one of the other area dragons, I can't remember what his name is, came back to help them with the venom and stuff. I can't believe that they didn't even give us a glimpse of Andarna. I can't remember if they did or not, but I'm almost positive they didn't. They didn't even give us a glimpse. Like, that, okay, I'm sorry, but, like, her and Andarna were bonded for, like, a year. So there's no way that Andarna's not feeling a lot of emotions about being unbonded, and we didn't, like, there's no talk about that at all, really. I mean, there is, obviously we know she's upset, but, oh, that made me so mad. I don't know. I'm also struggling with my love-hate relationship with Mira, because whenever she, like, was mad about Brennan, I totally understood that. That made perfect sense to me, and I whatever. She pushed it. I laughed at that. But I just have a love-hate relationship with how she kind of sees Xaden sometimes, and kind of how she treats Violet almost, because I still feel like even in this one, she still kind of treats Violet a little bit like more of a child. But have you seen what your sister can do? And then they still were keeping stuff from Violet, which just makes me really mad, because if that's the person that she's supposed to trust, why is she still keeping stuff from her? Why? So that made me really upset. Sorry, my cat is joining us. Headies. So that made me really upset. And then, I don't know, I feel like they should have talked about, another thing, I feel like they should have talked about the gods a lot more in some of the other books, because when they started introducing the gods, and, like, some of, like, the gods, how, like, what they, like, the gifts and stuff, and whenever they were traveling to the different towns or provinces or whatever to find out about the Iriads, and also to find out about just Venom and stuff, and get alliances, that, like, I don't know what I was just saying, hold on, lost train of thought. Oh yeah, like, I don't understand, like, they all kind of worship different gods, and I just feel like they didn't talk about the gods beforehand. I mean, I know there were, but I just feel like there wasn't enough information for me to care about them. Like, whenever they were mentioned again. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. I did like all the trials that they were all put through, though. That was very interesting. I like seeing that. Dane failed. What the? I'm sorry, but that kind of irritated me. But you know what? I also loved his redemption arc. Like, he's coming back in this. He's showing that he's a friend. He's showing that he's reliable. He's showing that he's trustworthy in this book. And I really enjoyed that, because I felt like, even though he did a lot of stuff, Rebecca did bring up a good point in one of her interviews, that he did, like, invade her privacy, but so did Xaden. So, and I feel like Dane and her have been friends for so long. I never wanted them to be a couple, but I did want them to kind of keep their friendship, and I'm so glad that they are, and that she's able to, like, come back and trust him again as a person, so I really love that. Fuck Jack. That's really all I have to say about that character, because I'm just waiting for him to die. Like, he just makes me so mad, and the way he talks to Violet, like, I'm just waiting for Xaden to kill him. I really am. And the fact that it all came around of who chose who. Like, Taryn chose Skell over Violet, and Skell chose Xaden over Taryn, and Xaden chose Violet over Skell. I don't know who Violet chooses. I think Violet would choose Xaden. I don't know. But it's just so funny, because in the ending, oh my god, we're getting into the fucking ending. I don't care. We're jumping right to it. Because that's really what I want to talk about. I think that's really what everyone wants to talk about. This goddamn ending. So I knew as soon as Violet's POV said she saw shadows erupting throughout the land that he was wielding again. And that he was taking from the ground, and I knew at that moment that he was going to turn full Venom, but I did not expect the ending to go the rest of the way that it did. which is that they are married and she lost 12 hours of her memories because she asked Imogen to take them from her. What is that? That is where it confused me, and that is where I rethought every single thing in my life and every other thing that I've read in any of the other books. I was really, especially his note. Like, don't look for me, it's yours now. What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? It's yours now. What do you mean that? What do you mean? What do you mean it's yours now? What is that? What does that mean, Xaden? So I felt, honestly, when I was reading that, I probably felt the same exact way as Violet. I was awestruck. I was just irritated. I was just, ugh. And I loved it, though. And I think that Rebecca does such a good job of making us, like, feel so much emotions, though. Like, I've just been feeling so many emotions throughout reading and talking about this book. I've just had so many emotions. I don't even know. So many emotions are here. It's insanity. But I really loved the ending, and I have so many theories about it, and I've seen some people on TikTok who've had theories, and I think I'm most likely gonna add all the people who have seen theories right here, and those are probably where most of my theories are coming from, but I also have some theories of my own, and that's what we're getting into. We're getting into the theories. So I want to just talk about the main one that I think a lot of people are talking about right now, and it's what happened during the 12 hours. What happened during the 12 hours? Clearly, we know that her and Xaden get married, okay? We know that. And that's why Eoric told her to protect the one temple, because that's where they get married in. And somebody even brought this up, that Xaden said that he had a previous favor to ask from one of the priest girls in the temple. And there's a theory that it was the high priestess, and that's who married them inside of the temple, and that's why Violet needed to protect the temple, because Eoric saw that they were going to get married. Yes, moving on. Another thing is that a lot of people, there's one girl in particular that pointed this out, her ad will be up here. The note said, "Don't look for me, it's yours now." And if you look, and she even pointed this out, and I look too, every time, and people think that he's mentioning Tyrandor, but every time that he mentions Tyrandor, he calls her a she. He calls his home a she. She, Tyrandor, she's home. Like, he says she. So it's weird that all of a sudden, she pointed this out too, it's weird that all of a sudden he would change, and instead of she, it would be it. So, I also don't think he was talking about Tyrandor in that. I didn't think that. I also think he kind of meant that as well, but I don't think that's what he really meant. And what she put it, I will just watch her video because I can't really explain him as well as she did, but she put together a really put out thought that whenever he was fully going through Venin, she called out to him, and he, like, was thinking about her, and that she now has a piece of his soul, and that's the part of the soul that can be savable, because obviously once you turn full Venin, then you can't be saved. But then now she has the part, and it belongs to her, that's the part that can be saved. And that's what he's talking about, is keep it, it's yours now, the part of his soul that can be saved. So there's hope. So that means there's hope for the next few books, that they can save his soul and bring Xaden back. I also just want to point out, I do not think Xaden stole the dragon eggs. I want to say that I don't want to say, well, if he did, I want to say it was for good reason, but I don't think he stole the dragon eggs, and I don't think he did the attacks, unless it was also for good reason, but maybe not, because he is Venom right now, so we don't really know, but I want to say that he didn't do those things. To be honest, I really just want to say that he didn't do those things. Also, a theory about Indarna. Well, it's not really a theory, more as, she's coming back. I just know it. I know in the second book, she's gonna, like, have learned all she needed, and she's gonna learn something about the Eriads that just didn't sit right with her, and then she's gonna come back, and she's gonna start helping Violet. Or maybe she figures out something about the Venin, and she comes back, and now she's gonna help Violet save Xaden's soul. But she's gonna come back in the next book. I have a strong feeling it's either gonna be the middle of the next book, and that she's gonna come back and help them, and that's gonna be, like really what helps put in motion that Xaden's soul is going to be saved, but I also don't think Xaden's soul is going to be saved next book. I just want to point that out there. I do not think that Xaden's soul is going to be saved next book, but I do want to say that they're going to make tremendous progress towards it. Yeah. I'm just like, This book, just thinking about it, is just confumbling my brain. But I love it so much, and I love my characters just so much. There's another video I watched, I'll put her right here. And it was, okay, what she was saying was really crazy, and I loved it at the same time. But she was saying that basically the Aoric and Xaden they created the entire plan the whole time throughout the beginning of the book, because you can tell if you go back and read certain pages that Xaden is very protective of Aoric, and he even says at one point, keep your eye on the first years, especially that one. And he usually doesn't really care about first years unless it was obviously Violet. So this brings us to think that he was keeping him alive for a specific reason, because they were helping each other. And he even says to Holden, I would love to let them kill you, but that would make it complicated. It would something back at home. It would make my loyalties complicated. I don't know. But that, yeah. If you can go watch her full video on that, she explains a lot of other stuff as well, about how also she thinks that Bodhi was channeling, because we do see that his dragon was hurt a few chapters, and then eventually later we see Wyvern surrounding a very hurt dragon. And we see that Bodhi's dragon, I can't remember the name, Cure? I think it's Cure. His dragon has a hole in his wing and a very large scar, like a large scratch or whatever on his chest. It's going to leave a very big scar. And then later, Imogen sees Bodhi vomiting on the ground. And that's when a lot of people conclude that he was channeling. Because then later on, after Imogen sees this, that's when the tornado slows down. And then it stops. And then it becomes sunny. So there's a lot of theories that Bodhi was channeling to counteract Theopene's magic, so that that Violet would be able to kill her, and Xaden would be able to do whatever he needed to do, all that. So that's why, another reason why they think Bodhi is missing, because he's also became Venom, and he's probably off with Xaden. Another thing is, I love that she made this theory, because I had a feeling, I just don't think Xaden would steal dragon eggs, that Aoric and Garrick are helping each other also steal the dragon eggs, so they can bring it to the queen that wanted like 12 dragon eggs. I can't remember the exact chapter. She has all the chapters and stuff and page numbers. That the queen wanted 12 dragon eggs so that she would be able to, so that she would align herself and send forces to the continent to help them. So yeah, that's my ending on theories, and that's my ending. My overall thoughts on this book is that I loved it, but it was a very big mind boggle. I very much enjoyed listening to all the theories and just reading this and getting all the new information. Like, we got about Darna's family, we even saw Xaden's mom at one point, and we learned about like that stuff. And just all this information that this book brought, I think, and all the stuff that it's making people think about now and go back and think about from other books as well. I think that it just, Rebecca Yarros knows how to make a good fantasy series. I can tell you that right now. This series is just, it's chef's kiss. Just chef's kiss. So there will definitely be more videos when the next books in the series come out, and make sure to go check my TikTok where I've already made a few videos about this book. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy listening to my little synopsis, my review, and my theories that I've compiled and that I do kind of believe. I really do believe the 12-hour, what happened in the missing 12 hours. I believe that one a lot, because all of that would make sense if that were to happen. So, yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye!